blessings come unhindered. Puts back the enemies of David. He has judged righteously. And then God rebuked the wicked. God has blotted out their memory. It's only God that can do that. These are very strong things that the Lord had done. Mighty acts. It's only God that can do that. Again, affirms God's sovereignty. Verses 7 to 10, the psalmist celebrates the rulership of God. God rules and he reigns. Nobody can unseat him. God reigns forever. His throne for judgment is established. He is righteous in his judgment. The Lord is a refuge for the oppressed. The Lord is a stronghold in the times of difficulty, in the time of trouble. We know that those who know God will trust him, because God does not forsake those who seek him. So God is ever dependable. God is ever faithful. God calls us to put our trust in him. Verses 11 to 20 declare that because of all that God has done, because of God's sovereignty, because of the acts of God, because God is unchanging, because God is the eternal judge who judges things, and he praises the Lord. He sings his praises. He knows that he is emboldened to come before God, trusting that in God his requests will be made, will be answered. Whatever his needs, his challenges, God will answer and solve them. So, he says he does not ignore the cry of the afflicted. He says he delivers me from my persecutors, even from the gate of death, according to verse 13. And in verse 15 he says, they have fallen into the pit that they have dug. Their net, their feet have been caught in the net. And they die and they are forgotten. And then from verses 19 to 20, he says, God arise and judge the nations and strike them with terror. He showed utter confidence in God. If you notice, I skipped verses 14 and 18. In verse 14, he said, I will praise you because you are God unchanging, who is eternal, who does not ignore the cry of the afflicted, who delivers one from his persecutors, even from the gate of death. He said, I will praise you because of that, in verse 14. And then in verse 18, following after